Hello, everyone. Welcome to the PackerUniverse podcast, a.k.a. The Pup List, the only pup list you want to be on. We're a Green Bay Packers fan podcast that brings you topical and relevant Packers news along with our most humble, subjective opinions. This is episode 339. We're recording this live on a Wednesday, December 17th, 2025. The Pack is a little beat up after their loss to the Broncos in Week 15, but are they broken? We'll find out this weekend against the Bears again in Week 16 with a lot on the line. I'm your host, Tay, and joining me in the Ethernet web is our one and only
Ren. What up, Tay? Yeah, are they broken? They need to go to Santa's workshop and, hopefully be ready to give us a gift on Saturday night, an early Christmas gift. We can only hope that we get something under the tree that's bright green and gold shiny come 10:30 Saturday night, Tay.
Green and gold, like a victory, right? You want a victory against these Bears?
Yeah. Not silver and gold, but green and gold.
Green and gold.
Yeah.
Everyone's waiting for you to sing now.
They don't need that. Trust me.
Well, I just, let's start the episode. We lost in Denver. Biggest.
Did they lose?
They lost not only the game, but obviously the big news is we lost Micah Parsons to an ACL injury. Huge loss to the team. I feel terrible about it just for him as a player, not only because it's our Green Bay Packers, but it's just like, could this get any worse for this situation? I mean, like trading for a guy that played his heart out and then to have lost in Week 15 on the road to the playoffs and potentially beyond. So that hurts.
As many people pointed out, Tay. I mean, They're up 9 at one point against a, legitimate Super Bowl contender in the AFC. Things are growing really, really well. And you're like, wow, this team is they're a team that's competitive and can win a Super Bowl. And 30 minutes later, the season certainly looks a lot different.
Yeah, I mean, our first takeaway was pretty dark, pretty grim, but I'm not going to apologize for that. You guys can go watch it. It was like 15 minutes of this sucks, we're done. But I'm not going to apologize because I saw a team that was very competitive against the Broncos and that faced injuries in the second half. And it just wasn't something the Packers could overcome or wrap their head around. Coaches, players, everybody. They got deflated. They couldn't overcome it. That's not an excuse. That's just what happened. Like you saw this team kind of just like sputter out. And I don't blame them for that, but in the world of sports, you kind of do. Like it's on the coach, it's on the players to keep going and try to win this game. Do they have the talent for a win in Denver after this happens? Sure, right? Like there's always like possibilities, and it's up to the individual fan whether the Packers do have enough talent, and they should have had enough talent to finish that game out strong. But it's a hard deficit when your star player that you traded 2 first-round draft picks goes out and he's gone, and you got other players dropping. Crucial to the offensive line, defensive backfield, and your arguably your best wide receiver that just came back from injury, goes down too. So it's just a lot. I mean, that's not an excuse, but that's what happened, right? Like you saw it. That's just what transpired. And I don't have an excuse for that, but that's what happens. And I think from the first takeaway, Ren, I was just a little like, we're done. We're done. And we got some comments on YouTube about like, you guys like, there's no room for pessimism and all this stuff. And I you're right, but I think as Packers fans, you can allow yourself to be down about it, especially when it's like this. This is a sports. This is a sports game. This is a game, and I guess the way I look at it, there's 3 modes of fandom. for your team. There's pessimism, realism, and optimism. And don't confuse pessimism with realism, because I guess that's my question to you right now is, with these injuries, especially the Micah Parsons one, do they realistically have a chance to still go where they wanted to go with Micah Parsons? I guess that's my question to all of PackerUniverse, because yes, I don't, it's really easy to interchange pessimism with realism and say, oh, you guys are just being down about the team. But go Pack, go for life. And yeah, green and gold, man, it's in our blood. That's our team.
That's why we're so upset.
And
I mean,
but there's a time to be realistic, right?
We want them to win so bad, not just the Super Bowl, but week to week. I mean, it certainly gives us a lot of joy. And we do this gratis day. I mean, we are not a sponsored podcast. We've been doing this since 2017. I'd say we've gotten a heck of a lot better over the years at doing this. We do this live now because you and I are, this is a Green Bay Packer fan podcast. We are, let's call it the truth. We're super fans. Clearly we're doing this right now as
Freaks.
we speak live, on episode 339. Do we do it every day like some podcasts do, or 4 days a week or 5? We don't. We have 9-to-5 jobs that don't allow that. If people want to start clicking the like button and following and eventually get us there, we'd love to do it. We would do more of it, no doubt. But the reality is we are, and it's okay to feel reality. It's okay to feel pessimism at times. I mean, I think you and I are fairly measured at most times with the football team. And when you do this kind of thing, it certainly has made me a more measured fan over the years. But yeah, when arguably a top 3 defensive player in the league that you traded for, that you never thought you'd have the opportunity to trade for, but you did, goes down, it's hard not to have that just hit you in so many ways. And it honestly, Tay, it was echoed by every other podcaster. I jumped on those podcasts post-game. I listened to other podcasts, big Green Bay Packers podcasts, and I heard the same thing. They were all down too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some of the, it's always, my green and gold glasses on stuff. That's great if you can be that way. But most of us, when we experience those things and the amount of guys that left the field on Sunday and where that game started and how it ended, it's hard not to feel that way. It's normal to feel that way. Right. And again, a lot of folks did. And since, obviously, as people have time to digest, the loss of Micah Parsons for the season. I mean, I love the comments from Micah about, this is something that, he's going to work through. And clearly, he's a man of faith and believes that this is a test for him to only come out the other side better, paraphrasing, obviously. But at the same time, and then he gets the lion emoji and with September, not emoji, but picture with September, he's going to do everything. We know he's that kind of worker to do that. But the reality is he's not there the rest of the season. And it is a big loss. However, as people pointed out, before August 28th, the Packers went through an entire training camp without him. As fans, we thought this is a team that can compete for an NFC title, right? There was a defense last year that improved throughout the course of the season under Jeff Hafley's first year as the DC. We saw amazing things, from Evan Williams' rookie year to Xavier McKinney having an all-pro year at safety. How Cooper came along, they took forever to get him going, but finally into the second half of the season, sure, there's no reason to think this team can't get off the mat and still be a very competitive team through the last 3 games of the season and into the playoffs. They can.
Mm-hmm.
But things are going to have to look different, and things are going to be tighter. When you remove a chess piece like that, it certainly also at the same time goes, because when we were feeling that way about, our football team's good, but how good are they? But then you get Parsons and you're like, okay, now
Game on.
That's the kind of chip and piece that takes it to another level. And that's no longer there, right?
Yep.
And that's what made Green Bay a true favorite after that. Because we haven't had somebody like that on the defense in a very, very long time. I mean, Julius Peppers was a little bit that for a couple of years. Not quite that.
Yeah.
Obviously, Charles Woodson was that. Clay Matthews was a good contributor to that. And prior to that, it was, that mid-90s defense with Reggie and Sean Jones and those kind of cats. But, it's tough. I think this team can win football games today. This is still a year where if you play, and I forget who said it. I want to say Andy Herman said it, but it's more now on like a razor's edge, right? You have to be more complete throughout the course of these games on offense, i.e. Jordan Love, and on defense to win tighter games. And it's going to be harder. It's not that they can't, but it makes it more difficult when you remove some of those pieces, especially, again, Micah Parsons.
Yep. I agree. Well said. Matt LaFleur this week said all the coach stuff that you expected him to say. I think Hafley was today. He said everything that he needed to say. I almost thought at the end of Hafley's press conference, he was kind of like a little annoyed with the media, but maybe that's just my own interpretation. He's just kind of like got out of there like, okay, bye guys, see you out there. But Hafley is like he's a good speaker at the podium, and he's
definitely entertaining. You hang on his words because he has good words with regard to describing himself and the positions they're in.
And he does say he's really good at coach speak. I'll give him that. And yeah, Ren, I mean, he's going to be a good head coach someday, and he'll be able to lead men, I think, and hopefully he can lead this team without Micah Parsons. And it's basically a challenge accepted for him. He was grilled today about a lot about Micah Parsons, but he believes that this defense could do it. He did, coming into training camp, like you said, without Micah, and now excuse me, that they don't have him. It's back to that. And he's just basically saying, paraphrasing here, but my job is to put my players that I currently have available to me in the best positions possible to win that game, and that's what he's going to do. So we'll see if it translates to the same type of defense that we're been used to all season. But when I responded to a couple of those YouTube comments, it was about the pessimism thing. And I basically said, like, maybe a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek answer, but I was like, well, after a Packers loss, Packers fans are pessimistic. During the week, you're a little more realistic. And then by game day, you're like, LFG, go Pack go, we're optimistic, right? And that's just what we do. So I guess I want to give you the opportunity, and I'm looking for a realistic answer, Ren. Do you think this defense is up for the challenge? Like, honestly, like, do you think it's going to happen? And then I guess that's what's the difference between optimism and realism is like, what do you actually think is going to happen? Not you want them to win, you want them to be good, they're capable, but what do you actually think the result will be? So I guess that's my question. Maybe not just the Bears game, but going forward, like, do you think this defense has it right now?
I mean, I think they can still play at a reasonably high level. I mean, I think in that second half of the Bronco game, they did not. I mean, they had plenty of opportunities to, take 2 to 4 picks away from Knicks, and they didn't. Is Caleb probably going to give you as many opportunities? Probably not. But when you do get them, you do have to take advantage of them. That's one thing to make this team go down. They're going to have to start taking the ball away a little bit more. In addition, the offense is going to have to play a little defense at times with regard to time of possession, how they decide to move the ball, and that's all going to play a part in this whole thing. I'm interested to see what kind of Packer team shows up Saturday night. And what I mean by that is is this a team that went through what they went through on Sunday and are defeated by it, and the Bears smell blood in the water, and we get to the end of the night and you're like, wow, they look lost and defeated? Or do they accept the challenge like Halfley's talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Do they have pride? Do they have fight? Because if they do, yeah, they can absolutely go out and win Saturday night. They have enough talent. We know that on offense. We know Jordan can play. Unfortunately, he had a great first half and then one of the worst second halves he's had probably all season. Things were not working out. Some of that was I think they said there were 15 quarterback hits in that game for Love. That's insane amount of hits, man. When you're feeling that kind of pressure, it's hard to do much, man. So they're going to have better plans, even if Zach Tom's not available. I still don't know the extent of what that looks like here this week for him. But, there's too many moving parts to say, yeah, this is exactly what happens. But I do believe they can win the football game. Yes. I don't think that, they can't. In fact, we're not going to do what's the line, Tay, but they are favored by 2.5 points again on the road. Ask me how that's possible after losing Mike Parsons. Not sure. But, the Bears are coming off arguably one of their
best games.
Best, if not best, offensive performance of the season. Mm-hmm. It was super cold in Chicago, and Caleb had his best QBR of the season. Luther Burden was playing a great brand of football.
Luther
Choker. What's that?
Mr. Choker.
Yeah, the Mr. Choker of Keyshawn Nixon. But he hurt his ankle. We don't even know if he was a DNP yesterday. I know that. Adunze, he's got a stress fracture in his foot. He's probably not going to play. They're without Burden and Adunze. Yep. Yikes. They can run the football. We know that. I want to say Swift had 98 yards against the Browns. Monangai only had like 32, 34 yards, but still, they put up 140 yards on the ground again, so they can run it. Time of possession thing, limit other teams' possession kind of thing, but they can beat this Bears team, Tay. There's no doubt. They're one of the easiest teams in the NFL to run on, Unfortunately, Marshawn Lloyd hurt his hammy again this week, Tay, and he's done for the year. It's over. There's no injury. What's that?
A new hammy injury. He gets put back on the 53-man roster today, I believe, only to be put on IR, which resets his timeline, Ren. So there is a chance. You're saying there's a chance he can be back for a later playoff run.
I mean, I don't want to pick on the guy, Tay, but
I know. It's
when you're not playing football and you're getting soft tissue injuries, and maybe it's happening at football practice, but I don't know, man. You feel bad for the guy, but clearly something with these muscles is not good for Marshawn.
Well, and speaking of a paper tiger, I've always thought Christian Watson is a paper tiger. He's getting injured all the time. Well, he goes down with a chest injury. He's holding his clavicle like this, and we all thought it was a break, but evidently it wasn't. And so he's back at practice, and he, to the media, he's saying, hey, "Yeah, I think I'll be ready." So he's a questionable. I don't know, and I don't even know what the injury was exactly. So
I think LaFleur, again paraphrasing, said something to the end of. They're like, was it his chest? Was it this? Was it that? Was it his shoulder? And he's like, a little bit of everything. Like,
it's like, so yeah.
So what was it? I mean, when I heard he went to the hospital, I'm like, sure sounds like a break that maybe punctured something, like they're like some kind of
going into soft tissue,
But Matt just went on to say, well, we're extra, thorough with what we do as a medical staff. So they just made sure. That's great.
But I'll throw some accolades at Christian Watson, toughing it out, being able to actually potentially play in this game against the Bears. That's awesome. I love that because we're going to need them. And I think we've been talking about the Bears. I mean, screw structure tonight, Ren. Let's just go where we want to. But, the the offense is going to be tested here. Like, they need to score. They needed Christian Watson to be on that offense, and they need to not necessarily keep up with the Bears, but they need to put up points, because I think, this is me being realistic, they're going to need to help bail out this defense if the defense is not going to be able to do what they've done over the last several weeks. And it's a lot of it is on Jordan Love playing his best games, which, arguably he's had some really good halves here and there and some really awesome games lately. So it's possible. Yeah. Like, they're capable. Do I think they're going to do that? Yeah, I think so. I with the guys coming back from wide receiver like Watson, I think Savion's on, and Wicks is on the injury report. Let me bring it up here. That's not the one.
That's the one.
We got, Savion's limited. Christian limited. Jaden Reed did not participate. He had a personal matter. No issues there. Matthew Golden, full participation. I don't see Wicks on this one. Oh, yeah, here he is. Limited participation for Wicks. So you've got these guys that are pretty much all going to be back, which is awesome. I think that helps out things for LaFleur into his play calling and his game plan. And you have Jacobs, who also is pushing forward, trying to play this week. I think he will. I mean, that dude's a tough player. And he even commented that he was playing through that knee swelling during the Broncos game and making those outstanding wide receiver catches.
And his longest touchdown run of the season, or run in general of the season.
I mean, remember weeks ago when he was like sick, puking on the sidelines and stuff? Like, the dude is
he's a gamer.
He's a warrior. So
he's a gamer.
I think he's going to play. We need him, and I think that's going to be awesome for us. So this offense is really where I'm focused on. The defense, I think, is capable to a point. Can we get to the quarterback? I don't know, Ren. Between Gary and Inigbare and Van Ness, I just don't know. I honestly can't say that they will, for sure. So with that being said, it's gonna.
I think that they can say it. There's 56 reasons why they will, and that is 56. And obviously Micah wasn't there late last year, and when they started utilizing Cowboy Coop the right way, I mean, he was the guy we want to make shirts of today. I mean, because he's that good. He's that good of a young football player. And personally, right now, when you talk that whole front seven, their best player is Edgerrin Cooper. And they have to figure out a way to utilize his talents now more as somebody you can chase down the quarterback, get to the quarterback, create pressure with, and use him as your chess piece. If they want to be successful with that front seven, he's going to be your main piece. And clearly, happily, he's got his work cut out for him. He has to really change up the scheme because, again, Micah ate up at least two guys every play. So it went from 11 on 11 to, 10 on 11. That's the way it is, or 9 on 11, because he got double and triple teamed all the time. So he's got his work cut out for him, man. But I think the defense can still play at a highish level. You can't have guys like Bo Nix, and then this weekend, Caleb Williams carving you up. What did he go for in the red zone in the second half? It was like, I mean, he may as well have been 100%. The Packers were 1 for 4 in the red zone against the Broncos. Again, you're talking about the offense needs to do things. They certainly do. And you can't have those results when you're in the red zone with field goals. And I think, again, with the Bear game, you have to limit the damage. And I think they're capable of doing that.
When you look at the secondary, we got Nixon, we got Valentine, Bullard's around, and obviously McKinney, and you have Williams, who's on the injury report. He had a concussion, right? Or no, it's knee. His
no,
knee.
it wasn't knee. I was wrong on that when I spoke to that the other day. But
that's right, because he went down the same time as Micah Parsons did, and so if he's not able to go, I think Hafley did talk about Zane Anderson stepping in and having confidence in Zane Anderson. We'll see, but you just hate
some of those preseason Zane Anderson picks going on. Let's get that Zane Anderson, Tay.
That would, I mean, hell yeah, give me that all day. But without Williams in there, I mean, that will hurt our secondary, and I guess
big time.
A little worried about that secondary having to hold things up if the pass rush cannot get to Caleb Williams. But Caleb Williams right now is on fire when he's out of the pocket, and he's throwing balls like Joe Montana. Did you see that today? I think Joey Christopoulos, our friend down there in Chicago, posts something. It like play the Joe Montana to Dwight Clark play and the Caleb Williams to Moore play back to back, and how similar it was. I got a big kick out of that. I was like, okay, easy guys.
It's as big as a all-time classic playoff moment.
Yep. So I was like, okay. But anyway, you guys have your fun down in Chicago. I mean, it's been a long time, right? It's been a long time.
Let them live their life. Good on them, I guess. But we just hope we get to say they suck at the end of the night. That's all.
So I mean, I'm worried about Caleb, out of the pocket. Loveland has come on as a good tight end threat for them. I saw a lot of wide open guys last week in the middle of zones, which I hate. I just hate zones for the Packers right now.
And that's their deal, dude. They're not suddenly turning into a man team, Tay. It's not happening. That's not what Hafley employs. So
we just got to keep everyone in front of us. I loved McKinney when he came over and almost intercepted that ball. That should have been his so bad. But
he's got to make those picks, Tay. He's got to get those balls. I mean, he missed at least 2 opportunities on Sunday.
Yep. And so when you're talking about these opportunities and you're talking about your team being on a knife edge, that's what either keeps you on the good side of that or keeps you on is taking advantage of those opportunities. And the Packers, they got that strip fumble recovery early in the game, but man, when they needed it most in the second half, it wasn't something they could pull off. But that's what it's going to come down to, is something like that where they can capitalize off of something like an interception from Caleb Williams, which they did the last game, right? The last play of the game sealed the deal. Keyshawn Nixon in the end zone. I mean, love that stuff. So that's what's going to take. And I'm putting more pressure on the offense to do what they can do and do what they're capable of. Jordan Love's got a ball out, and the receivers have got to catch everything thrown to them. And I'm looking for Matt LaFleur to kind of change it up, just to make it happen and be successful in the red zone, because they've got to put up points. All gas, no brake run. They cannot let up. I just don't have confidence in that defense. I think they'll have to prove it, that they can kind of leave or continue where they left off. And Micah Parsons is going to leave a huge hole there. And to say that they could fill that void, I think is a stretch. It's not impossible, but it's very, very unlikely. So
I don't think you fill the void. I think you have to change your identity a little bit. Yep. I mean, the Packers did turn the ball over at a much better rate last year. They're going to need to turn into that type of team a little bit. Doesn't mean you have to be like the Bears are currently, living with all those takeaways. They had 3 interceptions on Sunday against the Browns and Shedeur Sanders. So, I mean, they find them like they're picking up, loose pennies on the ground, man. And that's how easy it is for the Bears to find a turnover. But it's the identity cannot be what it was with Micah Parsons on the field. That is not the defense that is there anymore. But they can be competent and, keep the ball in front of them, as you mentioned, get a few timely, turnovers, get a timely sack. Speaking of sacks, the Bears had, I think, their best game of the year last year with 5. So
last week
they were just getting after it, man. In every phase of the football team, and that's how you kick the crap out of somebody. 31-3, as they did to Cleveland.
I don't want to, I think it goes without saying that the Browns aren't that great of a team.
Yeah,
So,
it's hard to say that out loud as Packer fans, Tay. We know why.
yeah, well, I kind of wish we were playing Shadir Sanders instead of Joe Flacco. Maybe they're better off with Flacco. The Browns are. All right, well, let's get to some predictions here. There's really not much more to say besides the huge story of Micah going down. A little bit riddled with injuries again. The laundry list continues. But
what did it flip that injury report back up? What did it say about Tom? He practiced today? Was he limited?
Tom did not participate.
He was a DNP. Awesome.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't have faith in that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say so either, based on it being already a injury-laden year with Mr. Tom to begin with. So he's been in and out of the lineup as it's been.
But we had, is it on here? Yeah, John Williams, the guard. He was activated.
He exists?
He does exist. John Williams, not the composer. The guard.
Was he out writing his most recent motion picture soundtrack, Tay? Because that's why we haven't heard from him, or what?
Guard of the Fates or something. So, yeah, I mean, John Williams isn't going to have any significant role. He's just opened up his 21-day window, so I don't even think we're going to see him. But
I would guess not, Tay.
Back to the Bears, I think.
Let's hope not. That they're in that position that John Williams, not the composer, has to play in any starting capacity this year.
It's the return of Williams. I mean, obviously, I'm going to say the Packers win because that's what I do. I think it's going to be a tough matchup. I'm picturing the Packers scoring a lot, so I'm going to put them up to 34, Bears 31. It's going to be a shootout. It's not going to be a defensive game. I guess that's the spread, isn't it?
2.5 is the spread in favor again of the Packers. I'm going to say the Packers lose a close one, 27-28. Chicago gets one.
Yeah.
And they all hope the joke in Chicagoland is, we could get the number 2 seed and Green Bay comes right back here. And then, Ben Johnson can beat Matt LaFleur twice in a year.
Oh, that's what they're deducing, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, whatever.
So he could. I really enjoyed beating Matt LaFleur twice a year. Yeah, they could try to get that one. Hey, yeah, we've got an NFC Championship victory in Chicago in our lifetime. So until they can say that, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think the Packers have owned the Bears for a long time, and I
want to say it's 26 out of the last 31 is what I heard when somebody pulled out a random how many out of that last how many, but that's a lot of domination. I know they're on their high horse. They're feeling good. They should. They got a good football team. They had a great win last week. They are back in the 2 seed. We're back to 7, but we were just here 2 short weeks ago, Tay.
Yeah, and I will admit they got something going down in Chicago, but it always can be spoiled by the Packers, and I think they're going to rally here a little bit more than I thought originally. I think they can spoil the Bears' plans, and I think they can come out of this looking better than we thought after the Broncos loss. So we'll see. Maybe there will be something under the Christmas tree for you, Ren. Little green and gold.
Green and gold. There you go, Tay. You asked for it. You got it. Yes.
Well, if you want to hear me sing, you should have been here a little bit earlier, but run back the tape. But we appreciate everyone jumping on and watching us live. We're on X, YouTube, and Twitch every Wednesday and after the games. So this Saturday night, Ren, are going to be awake for first takeaway?
Hell yeah. You know it.
All right.
I will be watching this whole thing unless it's a blowout like i.e. 1980 when I want to say the Bears beat the Packers 61-7. Then I might be asleep early, Tay. But and that was an all timer with Walter Payton like running for I think they had 9 touchdowns against the Packers in 1980. Tay, it's a bad one. We were just wee lads, so we don't remember that. Thank goodness. But that said, Tay, I think we'll really know what this football team is once it is that time, and we do that first take Saturday night. We'll know if this team's got fight, and win or lose, we'll know exactly what this thing is going to look like a lot more moving forward. So until episode 340, Tay, on the pup list.